It has suddenly gotten extremely cold in my house, so that explains the scarf. Hi! This week's video is going to be about the BFI Film Festival, which is an annual film festival in London hosted by BFI, and they pick a selection, I think, of about 230 odd films from around the world, you know, independent films and then bigger films, like not blockbusters but bigger budget films, and they screen them all across loads of cinemas across London, and you can go and buy tickets. You don't have to like be invited. It's not prestigious. Well, it's prestigious, but it's not like, you know, you don't have to be important to go. You can just buy a ticket online, and it's really great. They showcase some of you know, the best up-and-coming new talent, and also great old talent, not old talent, but you know, experienced directors, and a lot of them are really good because after the screening they have a Q&A with the director and the cast. So it's a great way to see films, because not only do you just watch the film, you then get to discuss and engage with the film afterwards, and then possibly meet other people, and it's just a great social experience. For someone who loves film, I absolutely adore it, because I get to see lots of films that would not necessarily be in the cinema usually because they're small independent films, and then I get to go and see them in all their glory on the big screen. Over the course of the 2-week festival I saw 3 films, and I'm going to be reviewing them and discussing them now. So yeah. The first film I saw was Grandma, starring Lily Tomlin as the lead, which was hilarious. I love this film so much. It was about a grandma who's kind of non-PC. She swears a lot, you know, she's quite foul-mouthed and kind of takes no shit, says it like it is, and she's a hilarious character. The script did such a great job of creating her character just through the language that she uses. And basically the story follows her granddaughter comes to her and needs money for an abortion, and so throughout the course of the film the grandma and her granddaughter go on like a quest to all her old friends and, you know, colleagues to try and find some money for her granddaughter's abortion, and it's so funny, it's so great. But what I also loved about it is the way it told its story, because it very much, it was showing, not telling, in a way, because that's what film is, you know. When you read a book it tells you what happens, when you watch a film you expect them to show you what happens. So she goes to like her different friends, and then you find out, you know, through their dialogue, like what happened in their past and things like that, and I thought it was a really good way how to, you know, bring a character to life without just having them sit down and tell their life story, which I really loved. And also, even though it was kind of a comedy, it was also had moments of drama, and like it made you kind of think as well, because there was, you know, issues between the grandma and her daughter, like their relationship, and you know, her wife had died, and it was just quite, it was quite not heavy, but it was just, it made you think, and it felt very real. And I just love that when, you know, a film can imitate life, because I think that's just, you know, it puts into words some things that not everyone can say, and I really liked that film. The second film I saw was Don't Grow Up. Yeah. I thought this was going to be so good, and then I got in, and like half an hour later I was just turned to my mum and I was like, So it follows this group of teenagers on an island, and they're in this kind of youth detention centre, or in care, or they don't have basically any parents. And then one day their supervisor goes missing, and they kind of have a party at first. They're like, oh, whatever. And then no one's really coming back, so they go to the main bit of their island to get supplies and stuff, and then they get attacked by adults who've caught this weird disease that makes them want to kill their children. Yeah, and then but then it got quite interesting, because it was like they were all kind of 17 on the bridge of being 18, so like, oh, when we're 18 do we become an adult and get the disease, or like when do you officially become an adult, which I thought was a really interesting concept. However, they didn't really address that concept very much in the film. They only really had one scene where people were like, oh, when do we become adults, and then they kind of just left that and focused more on like blood and gore, which wasn't really and you know, this isn't really a spoiler, but it's one of those films where a lot of characters die because of this, you know, deadly disease they're fighting to survive, but the script was so weak that you didn't really care about the characters when they died. Like, they weren't really given much of a character, so you're just like, oh, that's just that person's gone, alright then, let's, you know, carry on. It wasn't really it didn't really make you care, and I think if you don't care about a film, you're just going to be bored, and it didn't engage you at all, really. The only bit I did like was the cinematography that was shot really well, but that was mainly due to the setting. I really liked the setting of this island. It was kind of shot in a fairy tale way, which I liked, but the rest of the film, like if the plot and the script and the actors are just not good and they're not there, then it's not going to be a good film, so I don't recommend that. So yeah. The last film I saw was called Take Me to the River, and it was in the category called Dare, which is another thing I forgot to say about the BFI Film Festival. They have different categories, so there's love, there's cult, there's dare, there's a few more, but different categories of film, which was cool. And this one was in Dare, so it talks about a kind of taboo issue or something that people don't usually talk about in society, and it was really, really good. I really loved it. It was about this boy who's gay, and he goes to a family reunion, and basically something happens at the family reunion. He takes his cousin Molly into the barn, and then 10 minutes later she comes out screaming and she's got blood on her dress. So the family just automatically assume that he's done something to her, and it's basically about the repercussions of that. So how that affects him, how that affects his relationship, his mum, and what that uncovers about the past. And I thought it was just really well done. And it was so tense, like people were honestly just sitting on the edge of their seat. It was so tense because like the way it was shot, and also this performance of one of the actors was so threatening that you genuinely felt like like I had this scarf when I was at the screening, and I was genuinely like, which I don't often do, so that was cool. And it was really good, and the director was there and he was talking about the inspiration, and he said the film's idea originally came from a nightmare he had, which was really clear in the way it was shot. It really felt like a nightmare. You're like, oh my god, this is awful. And it was so good, and all this tension throughout kind of build up into this perfect like end credit song, which was, I don't want to give it away, but it doesn't make sense if I don't say it, but it was Under Pressure by David Bowie. I think it was the David Bowie version. It could have been the Queen version. I was kind of a bit distracted, and it was just a perfect way to sum up the film, and it also had elements of comedy throughout as well. It wasn't just kind of tense fest, but I really recommend that, and it had great performances from all the actors, and it was shot well too. So yeah, definitely go see that if you have the chance. I think it will probably be on DVD soon, but yeah, have a look for it. You'll find out online, you know. Thanks so much for watching this video, and if you saw any films at the BFI Film Festival, please tell me what they were and what you thought. I just love to talk about films and festivals, and if you have any other suggestions for what I should watch, then please let me know as well, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!